Another tough day at work today. Justin and Kirk think I suck. Throw back a few wobbly pops, feeling down on my luck. And the interns ruin every show. But it's still where we want to go. It's Mike and the Minifans. 'Cause nobody had any better plans. You want to be with DC and our aim in a hand. The host can't see, it's Mike and the Minifans.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Mike and the Minifans. This week, I'm joined by none other than my good friend PRC. What's up, brother?
Hello. And I think we all have to take a second fiddle to Drew's hair this week.
Oh, yes. And of course,
Those
Drew,
locks are
a brand new guest, but a longtime listener. Drew, what's up, man?
How's it going? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on tonight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then also, we have Andy Mayo's best friend, Brandon from Connecticut. What's up, Brandon?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I thought that this week was pretty good, but did you guys listen to the calls episode today? I'm assuming you guys all did.
Oh,
It felt a little weaker today, no? Or what did you think? Anyone can really hop in.
Yes, it did. And I think they were. And I don't know, maybe they should like stagger the calls out, like maybe even further. Like definitely do them because they are awesome most of the time. But I think if you do them too many, like over and over, it kind of just falls down a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, there was a noticeable difference this week.
Yeah. Drew, what did you think of the calls?
Some were good, some weren't, obviously, right? I think it can be hard because people try a little bit too hard to do their shtick, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes Kirk plays along and sometimes he doesn't. So if he decides he's not playing along, you're out, right? But,
Yeah.
You know, I do want to talk, we can get to it later, but I do want to talk about the end of that show today because I think Kirk was a super dick to Justin and he owes him an apology. But we can get to that. We can get to that later after we talk about the calls.
Oh yeah. I mean, nothing crazy to report, and yeah, we'll circle back around on that too, because yes, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. But Brandon, what about the calls? What about for you, man?
I thought it was pretty good overall. It's funny that he's mentioning Kevin, like he's really yearning for a Kevin call. He was like halfway through, he's like, "Oh, I miss Kevin." So, and then I remembered how funny the calls used to be. There were a couple decent ones today.
Oh yeah, Jen Marks definitely was like
that's the one I was
great
thinking
one.
of.
That one was just a perfect little fuck around call. Kirk Herbstreit. That was like, I felt like that one had more potential. I was excited when it started and disappointed when it ended because I was like, oh, there was more there. And I don't know. This
was good.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. The Kane one was good. That was really good. That was actually for Brandon. You would probably know this because you were at the theater. That is exactly what happened. So.
Good girl. Good girl.
I wasn't there, but Kane was wasted and just being obnoxious.
Yeah. He essentially was just sitting there calling out every answer at the trivia. So that call today, that's exactly what the experience was like. But imagine that going for about 25 more minutes. It was a little more accurate.
And
Wait,
how did
Max,
Kirk,
you were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Nice.
how did Kirk handle that while it was
man.
happening?
About 15 minutes in, I think he just like screamed out from over the top. He was like, "Kane, shut the fuck up." And just started grumbling, and then I think he went back into it, and after that Kirk was just kind of like, whatever, dude, I can't control this guy. And then he roasted him later on when he started talking to the crowd. But
Yeah.
you know, Kane got his. Kane's had a rough week. You know, he's just been he's been taking left and right hooks from just about everybody at this point. I think what started it was definitely Brandon. I think Brandon's definitely to blame for this. Kind of pushed the ball down the hill with the Kane's Corner episode of Brandon being Mayo's best friend and then completely trolling him. But now we've seen just wow, what a week, what a week. But more importantly, I guess, it's fucking Kane, whatever, he doesn't fucking matter. Drew, you wanted to get into the end of the episode. Yes, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Please explain away, kind of give us your take.
Yeah, I think Justin should grow a sack and tell Kirk to shut the fuck up when he's talking about his dead Bubba by Monday. I couldn't believe he was doing that. It's a joke and it's funny, kinda. Justin clearly has a soft spot and a special spot for his grandfather. And if he's in the hospital with pneumonia, he could actually be dead by Monday. That would be really fucked up. And Justin will, he kind of, I think, takes a little bit more than he has to. And I'll point to Colane, who he left, right, under those circumstances after Plymouth. And I assume everyone notices he's treated differently now than he was his first tour duty with the show. And it's almost like he went off on his own, became something on TikTok, and then came back. And I don't know if they were behind the scenes conversations, but Kirk seems to be a little softer towards him. And I don't think he's that with Justin. I think Justin needs a fuck you moment where he tells Kirk to shut the fuck up and stop talking about his grandfather like that. And he didn't have the backbone to do it today, and he rolled with the punches. But I was surprised that he rolled with the punches like that. And he's getting mad at Mick, and whether that's, founded or unfounded or a shtick, whatever. But I think he needs to do that with Kirk, and he needs to throw a little hissy fit and tell him cut the shit, because I would guarantee that bums Justin out, even if it's a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is really dangerous for an old guy to have pneumonia and be in the hospital. That's exactly, and Kirk was right. I couldn't believe he said this too, but he said, oh yeah, he's doing good. That's what they say before they die. And it is, that happens all the time. Oh, I was doing great, and then he died the next day. Like, what happened? So I'm really hoping that his grandfather does not die on Monday, but part of me actually hopes it does, because I think it would make Kirk look really bad, really bad. And Kirk likes to poke that. I think Justin needs to throw something through the window and tell him to cut it out.
Yeah. Oh, and Freddie just made a really good point too, though. Justin could have had 538 fuck you moments for the last 5 years. He won't do it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's pretty true, because I think, to your point with Colane, I think probably what happened is Colane went up to Kirk and set limits and set boundaries like beforehand. So I think that's why it seems softer, because Kirk kind of knows, like, all right, this is not an off and on-screen thing. And for Justin, I don't think he had set those,
No.
Because joking about Bubba, at the basketball game or with his friends, like doing a Ponzi scheme, that is funny. It's funny, like, no matter who you are. But yeah, when it comes to, like, the health of an old man who has pneumonia, yeah, maybe Justin should have been like, hey, if Bubba is, like, ever actually sick, maybe just lay off for a bit. And you're right. He had the perfect opportunity to say, shut the fuck up, you old bitch, or something like that, and then kind of go off on him, but he didn't. I don't know. PRC, what did you think about that moment? Was it, like, uncomfortable, or what? What were your feelings?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to get on the record. I hope nobody dies, even to bolster the show narrative. That's not my statement. That's not my stance.
Not committed.
Lame.
No, I don't give a fuck. Secondly, I thought Justin did one thing good. Kirk was talking about it at the end, and like Kirk was, when he started to go over the top, Justin said something. I forget the specific thing he said, but it was like over the top of Kirk's over the top that kind of like snapped Kirk back into like a little like, oh, all right. And then Kirk kind of changed the subject. So I thought it was cool little defense mechanism there.
Well,
Yeah.
he said he was going to kill himself if Bubba dies.
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
That, okay, I remember that part.
That was just wild.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think.
It's like fighting fire with fire sometimes, Someone goes over the top, you go over the top.
The problem, I think, is Justin takes that because that's what makes Justin Justin. That's why he takes every punch. That's why Kirk likes him so much. He's a great punching bag, and yeah, that's kind of what he does.
True. Oh, Mikey Grabbags made a good point too, because yes, he is correct. I was not involved with the era. I am aware that it did happen, but I did not see the episodes of the Dave's dead mother-in-law calls. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see those. But I have heard of them, and it was mentioned, I think, right when Dave came back this time as well. So there probably is some context that I am missing as well. So keep that in mind. But yes, I did that. I still, regardless, I mean, Drew, who's listened to the show the entire time it's been around for the 5 years that it's been here,
Same.
he does share that sentiment of that was a little fucked. But
It was fucked. And you wonder why Justin has a huge zit that doesn't go away.
that
He hates
stresses
it,
it.
and he's a punching bag, but he's stressed out. He's holding a lot in, and he is a punching bag, and he is a good punching bag. Great for our entertainment, but he has a history of mental health issues. So how is he doing? Is he really doing okay? Is he okay with all of that? When he looked sad when Kirk told him to leave the other day.
Oh yeah, when he was sick.
Awesome.
Yeah, it didn't look like a. I actually caught that right as he was leaving, and I had to go back and watch it because, again, I thought Kirk was being a dick, and he wasn't. He was like, "You're sick, go home, no problem, right? No problem."
Yep.
But Justin looked really sad and bummed, and he didn't. Maybe it's because he was sick, but he seems like he's bottling up some emotion that is eventually going to explode.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right?
1,000,000,000%. There is just, you can see it every week. The build up, and I think he let a little bit leak against Mick, but I don't think that's where all of the anger is at. You know?
He's taking it out on Mick. I think he's taking some of that Kirk stuff out on Mick.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
He has got to be. And I mean, I think it's just because, like I said, you didn't set those limits of like where it is. Because with Kirk, I don't think he truly intends to like harm Justin's mental state every time he makes a joke. I think it's more of like, what is my line? Because this is the show, and I say fucked up things, so you need to prepare for that. But let me know what is too fucked up. You know, I think that Justin, by not IDing what that is, I think that's where kind of Kirk doesn't know. So he's just like, I'm going to say fucked up anyway, like fucked up shit anyway. So unless you tell me the line, I'm going to see how far I can go.
So I have a question. You guys have dealt with Kirk. Is he like that? So if Justin said to him after the show, "Hey, please don't do that," would he not do that?
Oh,
maybe.
Or he would do it more?
No. He's
No.
not going to like, he's not going to double down because he said the same thing for, when I think it was Mutt, or there was a conflict with somebody earlier on. It was either Mutt or Mick or somebody. I think it was Mick when they got back from the South Dakota trip. They were all talking about like, hey, if there is something that's actually serious, like we aren't going to say it. Like him, Blind Mike, and Justin had all said that. So Kirk is like understanding to a point, and like the point that you mentioned, you can see it with Colane. You know, there are some things where like he'll like loosely mention like an in-law or something, and then Colane will be like, no, blah, 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 and then he'll kind of like back up, move on. So
Yeah, and it happened at the very beginning of the show with Steve's brother, Ben Robinson. Oh no, wait, yeah, Ben Robinson and Steve didn't want Kirk talking about his parents and their divorce at the very beginning. That's one of the first episodes.
Not just the divorce, but the affair too, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's been so long.
Yeah, the brother flipped out.
But then Kirk backed off for the most part. He'd make little Ben jokes or different stuff like that. You know, stolen valor, all that shit, because he was military.
Yeah, those were honestly some of the funniest moments, though. I loved that when he just went on a rant about how his service in Iraq and then his service in Vietnam and going back there. I mean, military people think that shit's funny, especially because he called out a military dude who lied about his deployment services. Like, there's no shame in just staying over in country. Like when Kirk asked me, I just said, yeah, no combat, no fire. Nope. I was a mechanic and now I'm an analyst. I went from a motor pool fixing diesel machines to sitting in an office staring at computer screens. Like, it just, sometimes it is what it is, dog. You just get over it. But yeah, those were great moments. I'm sad that I missed that live. Going back and listening to that was beautiful. But now, I guess the next question, we'll go to PRC. I haven't heard from you in a minute, buddy. For Justin, going forward though, if it comes to the point like where he like actually snaps and it's on Kirk, how is that going to go? Because I've seen a video, like I've seen it before where Justin was like quitting to go be like a streamer, or he just like he didn't see it like longevity wise. And Kirk right then was like, "Oh, that's fine. Yep, go. You can leave. Blah blah blah." But now when there's actually conflict between him and Justin, how do you see that going?
Well, I mean, I think the first question you got to ask yourself is like, do you see it as like the last time he quit, where he just like quits and it's like premeditated, or do you think this time it's just going to be a moment like you guys are talking about, and just like it just snaps and he's out the door? I think it's going to be. I think if he does, I don't think he's going to quit, but I think if he does, it's going to be it's not going to be a premeditated thing this time. I think it's just going to be something happens in the studio, one thing leads to another, things escalate, and then that's how it goes out. So I think this time it will be a great bang instead of a whimper.
Yeah. I'm feeling the same thing. I think because last time it was just kind of like, oh, I guess we're done, and then like Justin just kind of like awkwardly left, kind of got everything, whatever. And this time, I don't know though, because I don't know if Justin's going to be that confrontational on air. You know what I mean? Because Kirk is pretty quick in and out when he comes in the studio. Like he came in the day I was in, fucked with the thermostat for like 10 seconds and then just like sat down, earbuds on. Like when you see it live, that's Kirk literally just sitting down. And then after the show ends, he takes his shit off and he's like, anything else you guys need from me? And they'll be like, no. And then he'll be like, all right, see ya. And then he just walks away and you're like, see ya. Well, like, yeah. I mean, he'll stick around for like a couple of seconds if you say something, but if not, like, multiple people have told me he'll just get up and like walk right out. So how much time is there?
I think it might be like mid-show type thing, because like you don't know when it's gonna happen. It's someone who just internalizes everything. Eventually, that gets to a point where it just pops out, and like there's not a set plan for that or a set time. Like, so I don't think it'll be like at the end of the show. Like I'm saying, I don't think he'll leave, but if he does, it will be just it happens and it's crazy and it's done.
Yeah, if Bubba dies fucking this weekend, we're cooked. It's over. Next week is going to be like uncomfortable in a way that I think like not a lot of people have seen before as far as this show goes, just because of like, all right, well, we joked about this on Friday and it came to fruition on Sunday or Monday or whatever. And it's just going to be definitely a weird show. So hopefully Bubba gets better quick.
Can you imagine the calls that would come in after that? And I just couldn't see Justin sitting there and listening to Bubba calling from
dead Bubba. Yeah.
Oh man,
that poor kid. Yeah, that would be rough. Yeah. Rob Christie makes a point here. He says people are saying that Kirk would rather have Mick than Justin as a producer. So
didn't he try to do that?
No, because he tried to have Justin and Mick together, right? So does he want like what? Yeah, Mick and Colane? What's Mick's long game here, you know?
He definitely has a soft spot for Mick. We know that. He sees a little bit of himself in Mick is what it is.
Right.
Yep.
He knows Mick is tapped, but he's entertaining no matter what happens. Even if he does the fake stuff or whatever he does, it's entertaining. You know, you never know what the guy's going to do or say. So I think he likes that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me personally too, I've said it before, I love Mick. I think he's great. He entertains me, whether it's in a moment of psychosis or if it's just calm and subdued trolling. It's amazing regardless. And also, you know, you see Mick when he does make his appearance on other network shows. Like, you see him as a normal guy. Nice guy. Likes to hang out with the boys. So
it seems like it would be exhausting to be friends with him, though. He's like a walking conflict. He has conflict with everybody. At one point or another, he's had conflict with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite thing about Mick was that he basically broke up with his chick because the family wouldn't take him on vacation, right?
Oh, that was great.
Wild card. He's a definite wild card. But I can see why Justin would get upset with him and want to smash him for, you know, calling him racist, the family thing, even though it's a joke.
It's a troll job.
Yeah, and it was working. Obviously, Justin got fired up over it. But yeah, Mick is a walking conflict, good for entertaining, but I think it would be hard to be friends with him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think maybe it would be tough. I think it depends on how the friend plays it, but you know, um, he would definitely keep things interesting for you. I will say that. I will say that.
Would he want to do it?
Like, would he want to produce? You mean
Yeah.
full time? I think if given a second chance, and like he said himself, if Justin specifically was out of the picture, I think he would go on.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
So when
I
he said
think,
I'm not a producer, he meant like I'm not a producer. Subtext with Justin.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that what you're saying?
I
Okay.
think that's probably more realistic because if Justin was out and it was Colane, I don't think anyone's gonna ever have like an enormous conflict with Colane. Like as far as his character goes, he seems to be pretty nice guy and pretty easygoing.
Mhm.
Like people will hate him for like maybe sometimes the shit he says, but like overall person to person, I think the relationship would be fine with him and Mick. And if anything, it'd be entertaining because you'd get to see Mick go crazy. Because if anything, Colane's gonna default to Kirk if something crazy goes on, and they're gonna bounce off each other and just piss off Mick. So that could be just another layer.
I like that.
I think Cullinane has done awesome on this turn. I'm a big Cullinane fan.
Oh wow, that's an
Yeah.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I know. I think people are hard on him. I think he's been doing great, and I even like Justin. Justin does a lot of stuff that I don't think Mick would do in that position. Justin puts himself out there and makes a fool of himself, no problem. So I think that's a bonus for the show. But yeah, I think Cullinane's been doing great. So if Dave hears this, love you, Dave. Keep up. And I think he's got confidence. He's got this confidence about him that he didn't have the first time around. And, I think him and Mick would be good, but I think he's also smarter where he knows how to push those buttons, and he's been paying attention to Kirk on how to stir the pot. So having a little space between the first time he was the producer and now, I think he's looking at it a little bit differently, and he understands more about the pot stirring and how that's effective for the show.
Yeah, for sure. Brandon, are you in the same boat? You like Cully's second run better than his first, or are you kind of like
I think he realized he got a second chance. I think he took it for granted the first time.
Yeah.
And he was kind of lazy with the different stuff, and he screwed up that live show. And now he gets a second chance. Once you're out of the world, it's like, oh man, that was kind of fun. That was a cool job. And he's like, he just realized, oh man, I have another chance. And he definitely has way more confidence. He used to get beat up a lot more by Kirk, especially towards the end. Now he definitely has a lot more confidence.
Oh yeah.
The end was awesome. Those awkward moments of silence where Kirk is telling him, you should quit. You should quit. I'm not going to fire you, but you should quit. And then silence, and you could hear the air deflating out of Dave's tires. It was wild. It was great content.
And then the episode 2 with Portnoy after he had like officially said he was going to quit, where it was just Kirk and Portnoy going back and forth, just bludgeoning the poor guy. Like he was just getting the business because he was talking about like going into real estate and things like that. So it's just it was. I haven't seen obviously every single Colane episode during his first tenure, but going back, and I can definitely agree, he used to be a lot more of a punching bag and just kind of known as this like bumbling idiot or doing way too much, overreacting. And this time, he's more kind of dialed in, and I think it's because he has that internet exposure from the first time, and also like the internet exposure from TikTok. Oddly enough, I think that actually might have helped him a little bit. Because of the conflict that he was in with like Karen Reed and everything. You're gonna have a lot of fucking weirdos and psychopaths coming out of the woodworks during those TikTok lives and being like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking care." But now he kind of has that chance. Is there anything you guys like want to see more from the producers though? Because for me, like, I always want to see like a couple more things. I'm fine with like if they were to like try to maybe fuck with Kirk a little bit more, maybe troll him a little bit, or maybe when they play a sound, they don't tell him what the sound is. They just fucking play it and get his raw reaction. I don't know. Do you guys have any notes or anything you guys want to see?
I was going to say like more Minifan content and stuff like that. But like the last couple weeks, Dave has done a better job of like integrating that just in the last couple weeks. It felt like to me. There's just been
Yeah.
more kind of Minifan world stuff, kind of Minifan news. Like even Kirk, like I think it was today or yesterday's show was like, is there anything going on in the Minifan world? And Dave was kind of like keying him in on that. Like that was kind of cool to see, like the connecting that show with the community and having that all work like that. So I think that was my big note, and I think he's getting better at that. Yeah, and I agree with you about the TikTok stuff too. Like getting your own success in that little world gives you confidence. You know what I'm saying? And when you're more confident like that, you can operate around, people better. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was Dave's advice he gave me too when I was telling him I was doing other things. He was like, "You got to figure out TikTok, man." And I told him, I'm like, I can't do that. And I can try, but it's just I can't. It's just too much for me to deal with, But he is like very very much into it. I think especially too because he was saying like once he did get bigger, it kind of it is a pretty good source of like secondary revenue. So I think that's what especially he liked about it too, because not only could he do his little investigative work, like we have the case coming up, but also secondary revenue, never a bad thing. Never a bad thing.
How do you monetize TikTok? Do you know? I'm old. Is it like
No.
ads or
I don't know.
like
I'm the youngest one in this panel, I'm pretty sure, and I have no clue. I don't know if you're like, I think maybe you sign up. Okay, I think maybe I can explain it. I think you sign up to like be a creator, and then you get revenue, kind of like how on Twitter, they were explaining to Kirk like if you sign a couple of things, you can get money for like viral tweets and get paid by Twitter. I think it's like that, where you sign up for like the creator program, because that's how it worked with
Creator
YouTube
fund.
back in the day. Yeah, it worked that way with YouTube, like back in like 2010, because that's like the most recent time I looked into that part. It was like you got signed up or notified because you had so many followers, and then because of that your views got ads, and then the ads brought you revenue. So
yeah, that seems the most logical.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's what I would assume. And then the live stuff, I think that's all like through donations. My wife was explaining to me the other day. I think it's like through donations and like Cash App stuff. I don't know.
It's like on YouTube with the super chat, where they can pay to do different stuff, or like the other thing is you can like the creators like they almost do ads for different products, and like they get a percentage like when you buy that product. I forgot what it's called. It's like being a representative or something like that. You get a cut.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wait, here, hold on. Comment from Spinsta. He says that Coley barely catches any heat from Kirk now that Justin is in the studio with him. He has really shielded him. So
I was gonna say that.
Is it because Coley has drawn a line, or is it also is part of that because Justin is like a shield from Coley because of his fuck ups or his like demeanor, his bits that Kirk hates that he does all the time? I don't know, that has legs to it for sure.
I think it's a little bit of both, because you know how bullies work. Once you stand up to them, they'll go in a different direction, and Kirk bullies them around. So while Justin is there as an alternative, and if Dave put up a little bit of a shield saying, hey, not this time, then it's an easy path to Justin, because Justin's not saying anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, Montante makes a good point. Fax is the last person on Earth who should look into social media monetization. Very good point. Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't understand it, and probably be pretty hard to get. And then unless it's a go to sleep show, power naps before a show is the way to go. If you guys aren't doing it, you're losing. That's all I gotta
that was
say.
great. That was pretty funny.
Hey, a lot of people have asked me how you do it, and it's very simple.
They teach you that, don't they?
Yes. It's called, in basic training, it's called labored breathing, essentially, where they just say, figure out how to fall asleep anywhere, because this is the only time we're going to let it happen. So you figure it out. And then with me, after I drop the kids off, I always take my morning nap, and that was right around that timeline. So I was like, I'm still doing it. I'll just set an alarm this time. And it worked. Worked perfectly. Felt great. Had a great show. So
Were you asleep?
Weren't afraid?
Were you asleep when Kirk walked in?
No.
Okay.
I was awake like 10 minutes before. Because I said it like, I assumed he was going to come in like 9:20. So I set it for like 9:05. So, I don't. I had it all planned out because I knew what would happen if he walked in and I was clocked out on his chair.
Yeah,
Probably would fucking wake up to him just right over me, and be like, "Oh,
that might have been it. That might have been your whole performance. I think
Yeah.
if you're sleeping when he walks in, you might just say, "All right, well, this guy doesn't give a shit, so
yeah,
get this guy out of here." Or he might make something out of it too.
It'd be hilarious if they just did the whole show while Fax was just sleeping.
yeah." Just didn't say anything.
Like,
Just
didn't
kind of
say
let it go
anything to
through.
him, just let it go, and he's just sitting in the chair the whole time.
Facts. I think you're right that they need to fuck with Kirk a little bit more and do a little more pushback.
Yeah, it's fun. I think that makes a show anywhere with no fun. No matter how chill or how cranky the host is, it doesn't matter. If the producers fuck with somebody a little bit, like it's like when Kirk was like doing WEI and Jerry would kind of antagonize him. He would be sitting there and he'd be like, I was listening to one clip where he was like kept poking at Kirk and he was like, punch the computer, do it. Yeah, see, you do what I tell you to. And Kirk's going back and forth and Kirk's getting riled up. Like that part, that's funnier. So like if they do that, that would be great.
Kirk's there for a fight. He
Exactly.
will not
Give
shy
it to
away
him.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah, give it to him. You're the producer, be the punching bag, or force yourself to be the punching bag then. If you want to, just fucking poke the bear. Have a little fun with it. It's all fake, man. We're all on borrowed time. Don't take it seriously. Facts talking WEI clips is too funny. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, Hashite Curtis. It is
That
too
is funny.
All right. Also, I was going to talk about, I wanted to get into when Pat Ford came in studio, because obviously you want to see like what the Minifan world thinks of the takes, because for anyone who was on Twitter, they saw, or X or whatever the fuck, there was a lot of back and forth with Pat Ford and Kane and Don the Jeweler and Kane and things like that. Did you think Pat got upset about what happened, or do you think he was genuinely trolling the entire time?
No,
Brandon?
I think he got mad and then he played it off for sure.
Yeah?
I think he was triggered, and then he's like, "I'm gonna play it cool in the studio."
Yeah, that's I don't know. Drew, what did you think?
Yeah, I kind of think what Brandon just said. And what in that back and forth, was his wife involved in that one?
I think she had responded. She was the one who had responded after Kane's appearance.
So
yeah, so
that's one where for me I wouldn't want that. I'd say just kind of stay to the side on that one. I can't see that being beneficial to the experience on Twitter or within the Minifan world,
The cesspool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably more realistic as to what happened. I think it was like he was pissed off for a night and then he slept it off and woke up and was like,
"Yeah,
all right, that was probably an overreaction. I'll just play it off today."
he shook it off."
Yeah. Because that's what happens, at night you get fucking riled up and like the next morning you're like, all right, maybe I overreacted a little bit. Yeah, and I mean, even Hodgson Curtis says, yeah, Bitsville, USA. Yeah, exactly. So he thinks, and then Spinsta even said kind of like the same thing that you guys are. He didn't want to look like any more of a dork in front of Papa Kirk, but
That's
Spinsta,
what makes him likable, though. That's
exactly
what makes Pat Ford likable. All that stupid stuff he said, and
I was going to say
he was fucking up and stuff. That was hilarious.
He did a perfect job during the show being a dork anyway, so that was really just unavoidable. Because once he got comfortable, he started doing his Pat Ford things again. But that's why he's loved, you know, because he is the drip of the Drips in the Office, along with John and Warren. Shout out, great show. Oh, also quick shout out to another show that just started. Two of them. One which got mentioned on the show, PRC, your show. A review of quite a lot of fries, man. Holy shit! I didn't know you had a repertoire that fucking large. You are like, what did you call
Fry
yourself?
Guy.
Title?
Fast food sommelier.
Sommelier, that's what it is. The sommelier. I mean, I don't think I see anyone, or I can't even think of anyone who could compete with that. That was quite the debut. Talked about on the show. They seem to enjoy it. So, hey, hats off to you, PRC. Tune into that. Is that Tuesday or is that?
I believe it's going to be Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Okay.
Like kind of a precursor to the Drips. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they move it or something. But
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 2 is going to be even weirder. So
strap in.
It does involve food, but there's a lot of it's all in my wheelhouse. I get to use algebra, slideshows. I animated a cartoon. It's a very weird episode. So It'll be fun.
I love it. And then also on the other side, Fireside Chats with Freddie Lynn with John and Warren and Cinema Lords this past week. Great debut episode. Freddie Lynn, the librarian of Kirk Minahan Show, the one who gets to correct everyone and tell them how to like the show and what to like about the show. So we appreciate that, Freddie, keeping us all in check. You are the one who guides us onto how to enjoy the Kirk Minahan Show. So thank you. But oh man, I just had one other thing I want to say. Oh yeah, we completely rolled over Mick in that fact that he is essentially the Adam Schefter that is to become.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I have a theory.
Oh, okay, please.
I think Kirk found that information out and passed it over to Mick.
So that was a very quickly passed over theory, and I actually kind of agree with that one, because that's what I thought at first as well. I thought since, Kirk had connects, maybe not specifically to the Bruins, but just within the Boston community, he had to have somebody who said this, and then he was just like, let me throw a bone.
And look what happened with it. It was all over the place that you're not crediting the person who said it first, and it became a thing, right? That's Kirk.
Yeah.
He will throw that match and sit back and watch it burn, right?
Very true.
That was when that all went down. It's like, who does Mick know? Mick doesn't know anybody.
Well, then also TD, Mick explained it, and the librarian said clearly didn't listen to Nice Beyond Average podcast, because I did see that in the description of the episode. Mick had tweeted out that he did explain it. So hand up, I have not listened to Beyond Average yet, and I'm sure there is possibly a proper explanation. But yes, I was kind of thinking the same way you were, Drew. The match throwing, let it burn kind of thing. And Spinsta is like, are you too fucking high? You never know, probably. But it is a fun little antidote. Something fun to think about.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second.
But also, do you believe Mick? Mick's a wild card. He could have gone on the show tonight and lied about it.
That's what I'm saying. You never know.
You
never know. He explained on KMS. Yeah, he explained a lot of things. So it's just, a lot of things.
He said someone threw a rock through his window.
Oh,
That was
yeah, there is.
terrific.
Right? Like, come on. He could lie about anything.
The
Very, very
Saudis.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, the Saudis.
The Saudis. Yep. Another thing I had too was my good friend Ted Sellers. He was taken out of Minifan of the Year contention, like the contest this week. That was sad to see, because he, other than Cinema Lords, is my favorite. So he was my favorite to win. So now it's Cinema Lords. So now that's my favorite. Do you guys have a favorite? Because obviously you two new to the Mike and the Minifans and Minifan universe, but not new to the show. So with your guys' experience, do you have any favorites yourself? PRC, thank you for the nomination. I do appreciate that. You're my man. But y'all too?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I'd say Mick for me, just because there's been so much buzz around some different stuff. It may be a recency bias, but whenever that guy's in or on something, it blows up. And then just how well he trolled Justin and messing with Justin. The whole North Dakota streams were great with those three guys. I like Mick a lot. I think Cinema's kind of boring, honestly. But he's like a nice guy, but he doesn't bring much to the table.
I feel like he's got some fun stories. The father who stepped up, shout out Cliff, who gave that to Cinema, that one episode.
I forgot about Cliff's existence.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. But he did have that one thing you get credit of. Have a nice life, all that jazz. What about you, Drew?
I like Mick for the Minifan of the Year, but I don't think he should be eligible either. He's part of the show. Even though he comes and goes, that's like his erratic behavior is a consistent entertainment for the show. So he's always been in and out, and it just seems like even if he leaves, it seems pretty clear he's coming back. So
yeah,
if you're taking Ted out, I think you got to take Mick out.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think Ted was my leading candidate for that. But if it's not either of them, I won't lie, I'm kind of with Brandon about Cinema Lord. I personally don't care about anything with the movies, So when that stuff starts happening, I don't give a fuck. I think you need to find something better to do with your life than watch movies all fucking day. So all these movies, I don't see him, haven't seen him, haven't heard of him. Kirk's lucky. He's well off in life, so he doesn't have to worry about making his own way in the world. He's comfortable. He can go watch movies all day long, and he's showing up for 4 hours a week and doing his show, and he's in a great spot. But everyone else, we're young guys. You should be out there grinding, and if you're not set up like that, then what are you doing spending all this time watching movies and knowing everything about movies and having this useless, stupid trivia in your head? I'm not a fan of that stuff.
But he has
from the guy with the bong.
Cinema does have a job. He does own Cinema owns a
glasses
optometry shop where he makes lenses.
Then he inherited.
Wait. Time out. Wasn't that his dad's?
No.
Yeah.
No. His dad owned the business, and he had started that separately, and then he used his own money. I got the whole rundown from him going to lunch with him. He explained it all. So it's not as what's that word? It's not as nepotism as many other things are. It's a lot less. So it is a lot more earned it on his own.
You got to give him credit. He cuts out 4 pairs of glasses a day.
Yeah, he's a hard worker. Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. Oh, there are also Spinsta again. Another great point. There's no bigger fan than Sneakers. The man fights through insomnia and watches every show. That's true. Sneakers is dedicated. He had told me off record that he is the biggest Kirk fan that ever was, and he hopes that no one understands that his hating thing is a joke. But he had told me I love this show, and he was telling me your performance was just the most wonderful thing I've seen, and you should go in. So Sneakers, shout out. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the support for the show, and then for me, you're a great guy.
That's nice to hear. I didn't realize he was a nice guy.
Oh yeah. He's just probably one of the nicest guys out there, and I mean he loves the show so much. He wants to be the contrarian, Yeah, but he keeps it interesting. So you got to give that.
You got to give him that.
Everything needs balance in life. So.
Yeah. Sneakers must have threatened facts. No, he did nothing but praise me.
Yeah, is he on the other side of the screen? Is he
no.
Right now?
Blink if you're okay.
Yeah, that's 2 blinks, right? No. Great guy, supportive. Probably one of my closest friends within the universe.
Ooh.
But yeah, there you go. So, just great.
Are you trolling Sneakers right now?
Hey, I can't tell.
That's up to interpretation. But, oh man, sorry, I can't help myself.
We'll check Twitter later, and he'll be calling you a homo.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
more than likely. But that's what makes him great.
I don't know what's worse: you saying you like Sneakers, or me being Andy Mayo's best friend. They're both pretty sad, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, but you have fun with the Minifan verse. Like I said before, it's all fake. None of this matters, man. We're all having fun. What about Cinema Lord's appearance though, other than the movies? Because Mutt was there too, and Mutt, not only did he get multiple job offers, now we have on record that there are 2 specifically on record from Ted Sellers and from Sneakers. So now we know that there are 2 out in the universe, but you can only imagine how many others that Kirk said had mentioned that his friends, everything had reached out. But now where does Mutt go from here? Because he had his appearance and he seemed a little more, I don't know, sulky, negative. He was very combative this time around, more than usual. I mean, because usually he'll have one explosion, but then he's like, Mikey Grabback's Minifan of the year. These other guys waving their arms, he's getting pretty aggressive.
Get a job.
That's
What's
a good.
Didn't he get 3 offers?
3. What was the third?
Gilroy, lollipop salesman.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Right, good point.
That's lucrative too. That was $100,000.
Yeah,
I heard the lollipop business sucks.
Oh,
yeah, I see what you did there.
Nice.
Fuck that joke. Also, 4 too, because Barstool, but everyone knows about that one. That one was huge. But
I think he's actually catching some heat at home.
Yeah,
I think his wife's actually getting on his case, and now he's a little more snappy with Kirk because the jokes from before are becoming more real. He's actually getting pressure, and Kirk's uncovering all this shit about him. he's got this much debt, and he jokes a little bit, but there's some truth behind it. He's a derelict, he's a degenerate, and doesn't
Is it
save
gonna
anything
be?
for his kids, but he gambles all this money.
Yeah, are we looking into like next time he comes in, he's looking like Jay Leno type of deal, or what's up? Is he gonna fall down at the Hampton Inn and then walk to his venue?
I think his wife's gonna get him. Can you imagine being her and being sexually attracted to a man who doesn't want to work, a man who wants to gamble, a man who's okay with debt while he's not working, a man who goes into his one of his best friend's shows and gets shit on for 2 hours? What a
For
tough
free?
beta for free. Mutt's another one. He has no fucking backbone. He's a weenie. He's a pushover. He's got no direction in life. He's a grown man with kids. What an embarrassment. He is an absolute embarrassment. And someday his kids are going to have the ability to come back and watch this whole saga. How long has he been unemployed? A year? More?
I feel like it has to be
Sometime around,
2 at this point. Almost 2 years.
What? Unbelievable.
No, he's not.
Unbelievable.
He's got much back though.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, Mutt stack.
Oh, here we go. Curtis has something to say.
Oh.
Go ahead, fact spin your gambling now. Hey, the next one is the one that's gonna hit. That's all I gotta say. The next one's the one that's gonna hit.
Keep chasing it.
That's the attitude.
Look out! I got a great anytime touchdown parlay coming this way this weekend. I'm excited.
Stay
I'm
positive.
excited. Yeah, that's right. Oh, and TD also had a question. Are these guys third chair guys? I would say we're more like 7th and 8th chair guys, TD. That's probably
Yeah.
a better explanation. This is kind of like we're all kind of like the 8th string. We're the Nathan Petermans of the Kirk Minahan world. If you know football, you'll understand that reference. He's a horrible quarterback. But yeah, Ricky Slicks just kind of says Mutt is a failure of a father. It's pretty
Agree,
black
Ricky.
and white.
Yep. That's
Pretty black
obvious.
and white.
What do you
Yeah.
think his kids are telling when they go and meet friends and, hey, what do your
I
parents
don't want
do?
to think about that.
My
I don't wanna
mom's a
think about
teacher and my dad is a, what do they say?
He's a grinder.
A grinder?
He's got a grinder.
He's
No,
on
doing
grinder.
shit. He's got
Yeah.
Mutt stack.
Well,
He's
I
got
think
Mutt stack.
that's the thing. You can and that's why it upsets me too, because although Mutt is boring, as a boring person myself, I can say as long as you have a co-host who kind of balances that out or is there to just shit on you the whole time or whatever happens, you can be entertaining. You can be that boring guy, if you have someone like that. So that's why I get pissed off when especially that Barstool thing came about, him with Ilio and Dave and just him getting shit on, but also him just having that boring and sometimes right horse bets. That could have been something. So I feel like you could do something like that, but for the time being, yeah, bro, go make money elsewhere and then let it come to you.
And if he was going to get shit on for free by Kirk, why not get shit on by Dave, who's one of the biggest media personalities out there, and make money off it? He's
fucking right.
He's someone I got nothing from Mutt. I think he's a bum. I think he's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to sell myself short. You are boring with everyone. Well, that's what I said, Roscoe. That's what I said. And then Kirkster just says gay. It depends how much you're paying me, Kirkster. But yeah, I'm down to clown for quite a lot of things for not a lot of money. Yeah, exactly. No one else gets that reference. Facts. My bad. Nathan Peterman's a horrible quarterback.
Yeah,
there it is.
that went right over my head. I'm not gonna
Watch
lie.
football. Also, I wanted to see. Spinsta brings up a point. I don't understand why Kirk keeps trying to give Mick a job, but has completely abandoned the ideas of giving Mutt a job. Yeah, that's interesting, but also I think it's pretty obvious. It's because Mick is infinitely younger, by a good 14 years or so. And, Mick is also working.
He's interesting. He's actually interesting too.
So Mick is doing something while also trying to pursue the beyond average Mick, the beyond average fucking world. Versus Mutt, I think he's just I've tried so hard to help this motherfucker, and he's taking nothing.
He gave up because of his own
roles.
It's like a what, PRC?
Thing? Like a roles thing. Like
Roll.
Mutt would fit in as a good sidekick to Kirk, But Kirk doesn't need that right now. He's got a third chair and he's got Blind Mike. What he probably will need at some point is like someone else to fill in as a producer role.
Mhm.
And Mick would be more apt for that. So I don't even think it's like he's given up on my. I just think it's like it wouldn't be the best fit. I think he's probably looking for someone to step in who can do multiple things, like produce, kind of like what Colane does. Colane produces. He does the producer's show, and he kind of does Minifans. Colane wears a few hats. Justin wears a few hats. I don't know if he thinks Mutt would wear all those hats. That's my take on that.
Wasn't there some talk about Mutt taking the producer role when right before Colane came in?
Yeah, I think it was like thrown in there, but he just like was.
Yeah, I
No.
don't think Mutt. That's probably the one smart thing. I don't think Mutt would really work for Kirk. It would be 10 times worse.
He can't do it.
Yeah, no. And I think that was like his biggest blockage into accepting the job at Barstool. He didn't want to be working for Kirk. And then Rob Christie just made a really good comment. Mutt just wants to be back on radio, and he's the last person to know that ship has sailed. That is a take I very, very 100% agree with. That's like the number one thing I think is really what it is. Is like no one has told him that radio was dead, and for some reason he wants those like what he sees as glory days back, where it's like the daily radio show with Mutt, and he doesn't realize that it doesn't give any sort of like profit or anything like that, but he's desperately trying at it. So yeah, it's dead, man.
It was real sweet when he was shitting on the new WEEI producer / co-host that they were talking about.
Yeah.
And he called him a generic radio guy. And I wanted to scream through the radio like, what do you think you are? You're the most generic radio guy out there. You got that fake voice, and you're stuck in this time zone of 1992 when radio mattered. And radio does not matter anymore. And I think you're right. He's like holding out hope that one of these local radio people are going to say, oh, why don't we get Mutt? He'd be great for this.
He thinks it's more prestigious. He's like what, a 44-year-old? Like it's a 60-year-old or 70-year-old trapped in a 44-year-old's body. Like nobody my age or younger even turns on the radio. Like it's,
no. As a young guy, I can say
Spotify or. I'm 33. I figure Fax is around the same, maybe, but
25.
Oh my.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. And no, I never listened.
Is this more like radio now? Is this where radio? Because like you could say podcasting, but podcasting is more just broadcasting. Like radio always had that like communal aspect to it.
I think the Kirk show, within itself is a lot closer to radio because it's just a live show on the internet. I think it's not really about the concept of the show. I think it's more of like the platform that it's put out. It's changed to internet. It's not in a car tuning your fucking knob anymore. It's all about the internet, easier access, quicker access. No commercials. Yeah, exactly.
If I have to hear 1-877 Cars for Kids one more time, I swear to God.
There you go. I'm assuming that's a commercial up there. Yeah, I don't know that one.
Yeah. I've been listening to Kirk for about 10 years, give or take. So,
yeah.
The first time I really was into him was on EEI when he went over to the guys next door and he was yelling
Sports
Fire
Hub.
Felger. Yeah, the Sports Hub. He had a sign Fire Felger and he was standing out there yelling Fire Felger, Fire Felger. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty funny. I started out hating him, and then you kind of realize it's. I don't know if I would call it a bit, but like that's his thing. He plays like the asshole guy. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, and that's why so many people like him because you start to enjoy that aspect of it. It is pretty simple. That's what brought me into it. I like the ball busting. Everyone
that's
does.
What makes it feel like a radio show too.
Yep.
Just talking. They're just bullshitting. Like I try to explain to people what the podcast is, and I'm like, they kind of talk about current events, and it's a lot of inside jokes, and they're just busting each other's chops.
Well, not according to Ricky Slicks. Ricky Slicks tells you that Kirk is a bad guy, so there you go.
He's not a bad guy. He's the bad guy.
Capital
He's the
T.
bad guy. It's Kirk.
It's Kirk. Yeah, I mean,
He's gotten real quick. He
Go
was
ahead.
a real prick before when this show first started. For the first couple of years, he was a motherfucker, and it got hard to listen to for a little while. And then
He was
sometime,
super angry.
yeah, he was real angry. And sometime around, I think when Dave bought the company back, something changed with him. And I've always wanted to ask him if he started new meds around that time, or if there was a talk like, hey, you can't keep treating people like this. Or behind the scenes, I wonder if he was being such a dick that the numbers started to drop, and then he changed his tune a little bit and the numbers went back up, even though he'll tell you he doesn't give a fuck about those. It matters to the company, right?
Yeah.
So he's much better now and seems even happier just with his own life now. And he seems comfortable. He seems like he knows he's got a home at Barstool. And yeah, going back to, when the show first started, he was a motherfucker. And I couldn't believe how much people would take from him, to include Justin and Colane and Steve. He was brutal to them.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I think that's what, but also at the same time, those people who are transitioning from listening to him on WEI and transitioning to the Barstool world, they've always liked that aspect of Kirk, and seeing it at a much more aggressive and uncensored level, they were loving that, because now, all the famous show haters are, people are saying, oh, Kirk changed. They all mention that same thing. Oh, Kirk doesn't go to war anymore. He doesn't motherfuck people anymore for doing this or that. And then I mentioned one time that it's like, yeah, he's just, he's more subdued now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I guess my perspective is different, because that is the Kirk that I kind of entered into. Then I just get a laugh at the other shit that he did before. I wasn't listening through that live. I just got to go back and be like, ha, yeah, fuck Steve, or ha, yeah, fuck Colane. And then you come back up, and he goes hard sometimes, but yeah, it's a lot more subdued now. And I think my take is, I think it's just that the relationships within Barstool grew. I think it just like naturally grew. And now that he's like friends with everyone, before when he just came in, he looks at the content and he's like, what the fuck is this? Fuck this content. Fuck that. And now that he kind of knows everyone on a more personal level, it's easier for him to be like, oh, it's a good guy. Because like he likes Will and Taylor, but I guarantee if he came back, he'd be like, oh, these fucking douchebag football players coming in and talking about this. Fuck those guys, those fucking idiots. They probably both got CTE, That just like seems like the type. I could be way off, but that's how I feel.
He seems to be more Barstool, right? Like he's part of the company, where when it first started, he's kind of on an island and no one really gave a fuck about him. But now he's in the mix. He's friends with KFC, with Big Cat, with Dave, Whitney. He's got definitely more comfortable with his position within the company.
Yep. Oh, and then yes, hashtag take Curtis. That is my quota. I have to have at least one reference to the show per episode. It's in my contract, so don't be mad at me. Be mad at the guys. Yeah, be mad at the guys who drew up the contract. So
you like that one?
Oh yeah, good show. I do know Kirk so well. Wow Facts entered Kirk. Big if true.
Holy shit.
We had one glorious night, but I signed an NDA, so I can't go into detail.
Living Julie's dream right now.
And then Menners booked Facts. Don't forget. Yeah, shout out Menners. Had a great time hanging up there with my best friend Sneaks and also my other best friend Kirk. We had a great week. So hard to forget Kirk, sir. And then John Boy came in and saying good day. Good day. A perfect way to wrap this up right at 59 minutes. Do you guys have any final thoughts or anything before we head out of here?
I just had one small thing. I know me and you were two of the people that were standing at the Aaron Hernandez thing, and you said that was weird that people were standing. I just didn't want to sit next to like random Minifans. There weren't like multiple seats open, so I wasn't going to be squished between like Kane and Mama K or anything like that. And I don't like sitting for that amount of time anyway. I'm too fidgety. So he was like, oh, that was weird. It's like me, Facts. I think
John and Warren was there too.
John and Warren, yeah. A handful of us were standing in the back. It was just more comfortable,
It's your life, Brandon. Do what makes you
Yeah,
happy.
you can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Don't let Kirk tell you what to do. Fuck him, man. You stand if you want. I told him I was tired. I flew all day, and then I had a wonderful time with Quidditch Guy when I did sit down. A wonderful
Nice.
person,
I
great
missed
time,
out.
and a great show. But yeah. Oh yeah, no John from Scranton tonight, so no calls, Curtis. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh man.
Oh, but Ricky does say you made a great point, Brandon. So
Wow.
fuck me,
That
I
means a
guess.
lot coming from Ricky Slicks.
Yeah, there you go. But yes, thank you all for watching. Brandon, thank you for joining. Drew, thank you for joining. A great addition. Drew, they love you. Miss you too, Quidditch Guy. Thank you for the shout out. PRC, as always, you are my knight in shining armor. Thanks for coming through for me, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to all my friends in the Minifan world. Shout out to the Minifan world. Shout out to all the other Minifan shows. Every single one is better than this one. Just ask the comments. They know. But yeah, other than that, everybody have a great night. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
See ya.